Hello there, peoples. Welcome to Zero Views. It is time to talk about RWBY Volume 4, Episode 10, and Kamen Rider Ex-Aid, Episode, 15? 15? 15. Alright. So, starting with RWBY, kind of underwhelmed me this week. It focused entirely on the group, on Team Ranger, the split Team Ranger, and one other thing. But I'll explain why this episode didn't really carry me that much, in terms of me wanting to care about it too much. I mean, I like it, but it's something I wasn't expecting, especially because of the last episode, which was really good setup. So Oscar basically sets out from the forum, talking to Ozpin, and they get to a train station to buy a ticket, but he doesn't have enough money. Ozpin's all like, "You'll have to figure it out on his own," but cautions him that, someone is approaching. And, Oscar actually feels someone approaching. Hazel shows up. Remember Hazel from frickin' the first episode? Yeah, he shows up. And he's all like, "No, don't let this small obstacle obstruct your path." And he just smashes the machine and gets Oscar the ticket. And Ozpin's all like, "Yeah, Hazel's someone from his past that's not to be taken lightly." So Hazel is already pretty dangerous now compared to, like, Tyrion, who's had a decent amount of screen time. Like, Hazel is just intimidation. And, Ozpin even says, "Don't take him lightly." So, Jean and RWBY basically go through they go through the destroyed Kuriyuri. There's nothing there. They set Crow down, and they check. There is nothing at all there to help them. So, and they hear grim roars, and they're all like, "Shit, obviously they have to get out of there soon." But they're not, because, this ties into the main part of the episode, which was the past portion. Basically, we get to see Redden's past, about how he lived there. Nora was actually a stranger, like a homeless stranger in the town. And, we find out that this, there is no name for it. It's this, like, horse and, like, humanoid type Grim, that attacks the village, and it's obviously smart. It's very much like the Goliath Grim, like how they were said that how the Goliath Grim were basically said to have been so smart that they know better than to just charge headfirst into humanity and stuff. This seems to be one of the Grim that's lived, like, for a long time, especially because it's been around since Ren was a kid, and it's still around now. But they call it the wiki calls it, like, a Knucklevi, or whatever, a Knucklevi. I'm assuming it's some kind of, like, thing it's based on. Let's see, does they have anything? Oh, yes, it's from Norse mythology. So, yeah, it shows up, wrecks shit. We see Ren's mom die. Ren's father tries to hold it off, but obviously he doesn't. Ren hides away, and he actually uses his semblance, which is to mute his color, and I believe, like, emotions, or, like, scent or something, because Grim can't find him. And so he finds Nora under a building and uses his semblance to help protect her. And the two just kind of hide out until everything's done, and that's where their journey starts. So yeah. This Knucklevi Grim or whatever. Definitely, he's probably going to be Ranger's final boss, actually, in terms of who they're gonna fight last this volume. The one thing that bothers me about this volume, actually, I'm not even done with it yet, because Ren and Nora, they're going through the mountains, and a Shion flag hits Ren in the face, and remember Shion, like all the way back in like what was it, episode 2 or 3 or so? Yeah, hits him in it hits him in the face, and then they find out, they go through a cave in the mountains and find out that, hey, the Nuclevi was actually partially responsible for the destruction of Shion. And like they find a bunch of weapons, weapons and blood and stuff, and like then the hoof prints and stuff, and like they go to the other side of the cave, and they see movement in the trees below, heading towards Kurayuri, and we ended off with the grim roaring. So I'm slightly disappointed in this episode because we made Ren such an important part of the season that he needed his own backstory episode. Problem being, this is a setup episode again. Now, normally I don't have a problem with setup episodes, but you guys had a setup episode last episode already. You had setup, with Yang, you had, with Blake, Weiss. It's like, you guys only have 2 episodes left. How are you going to, unless they're going to do the Nuclevi or whatever, the fight against that in this next episode, and then save, like, the rest of the girls and their stuff for the final episode. But yeah, I know a lot of people, for some reason, this reminds me though of some reason, people thought that Team RWBY was going to get back together by the end of Volume 4, and it's like, I'm all like, you guys don't know how this works, do you? You don't know how this arc works, do you? If anything, most likely they'll be getting back together at the end, towards the middle or end of Volume 5. That I can be more sure of. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they end off this volume, because I'd rather they not focus the last 2 episodes completely on Ranger, because that would just feel like a cop-out, and it's like, okay, you did all the setup for other people, why aren't you like showing us more with them and stuff? You know what I mean? Overall, I mean, I'm glad Ren and Nora, of all people, got more backstory, because God knows they needed it. And they needed more character development. We also even get a nice scene of RWBY realizing she was kind of just dragging them all along, and how she's sorry. But John, he doesn't accept the apology, and he's all like, no, you gave us the courage to move forward. After all, Pyrrha was killed because of this whole thing. It's like, well, John's all like, either way, we would have done something. He's all like, we're just glad you gave us, the reason to keep on, fighting and stuff. And, I like that, the nice little character moments, which is good. But, yeah, most likely this, again, I can't pronounce it, Nuclevi or whatever, this Grim is probably going to be Team Ranger's final boss. Because, here's the thing, Nora and Ren see it heading directly towards Kurayuri. There is no way they're going to leave John and RWBY alone. Sure, John and RWBY are going to fight it probably, and they're going to start getting beaten back, and then at the very last second, what's it called? Ren and Nora show up and start fighting it, but, who knows if they'll be able to do any damage to it, because that thing seems like it's been through a lot of battles. So yeah. Not much else to say on RWBY. Not bad. So, Kamen Rider Ex-Aid, we actually didn't have a title sequence this week, with Ex-Aid. The interesting thing, though, one nice little thing I thought at the beginning of the episode was Hiro actually compliments Emu on how not so much how he handles, but how he's probably the best one out of all of them who can do the bugster surgery whenever patients are being worked on, considering, Hero's specialty is, being a surgeon. He compliments him and stuff, and Emu gets a call for a bugster breakout. And it turns out the girl, Nico, Saiba Nico, she tricked him, and she tricked, Taiga, or not tricked Taiga, but she stole his belt and Gashat. Taiga shows up, and he's all like, "What the what the hell are you doing? Give me those back. They're not your toys." Nico tries to transform to fight Emu, and then she basically collapses because of the bugster virus. It basically was dormant inside of her and activated once she tried to use the bang bang shooting shot, which failed spectacularly. And people are like angry at it, angry at Toei. They're all like, "Oh, Toei, why did you do that? Blah blah blah." And I'm all like, "Guys, do you not remember them specifically saying you needed compatibility surgery?" I'm all like, it's like you guys just love to find you guys just love to find things to complain about in terms of female Kamen Riders, don't you? I mean, it was obvious from the get-go that she wasn't gonna transform into Kamen Rider Snipe. If you actually paid attention to the whole, they need compatibility surgery and stuff. So she gets infected by the oh man, tongue-tied. So she gets infected by the virus. We get the Revel Bugster again, and Emu goes level 10, starts fighting. All of his attacks keep missing. They don't do any damage at all, which is kind of funny. Brave and Snipe deal with the grunts, and Revel is interesting because he gets sidelined so much in this episode towards our villain riders, because he's just kind of in the background trying to figure out what to do. So Taiga and Hero, who shows up, they deal with the Bugster Combat Man, and then Emu goes Mighty Brothers Double X, and deals with Dan, who shows up Dangerous Zombie style, and they actually manage to beat him down, but he's still, he is still able to revive, but it's obvious that they're doing so much damage to him that he can't possibly, keep up with them because there's two of them. Dan makes an escape with the Revel Bugster, and we find out that, we find out, interestingly enough, from Dan, before he gives Parad his Gashat so he can become Paradox, we find out that both Mighties, both Ex-Aids, are actually level 10. And the only reason they're so powerful is because they work together, thus making 10 plus 10 equals 20. You know what I mean? So, before that, though, we do get a scene where Taiga and Hero both find out the truth about, it's a scene that's kind of spread out, in one scene, and then at the very end show the revelation. But basically, we get it tied into the Heisei Generations movie. Taiga finds out from Dan that 6 years ago, Emu was patient zero with the Bugster virus. Dr. Pac-Man and his crew were trying to control the Bugster virus through Emu. It backfired, and they got sent away and disappeared. And then, there's a Heisei Generations movie dealing with whatever that was in terms of Dr. Pac-Man. So, that happened, and we find out from Emu that 6 years ago he took place in a tournament, a fighting game tournament about Tekken 6. Yes, that's right, Tekken 6 Kamen Rider cameo, woo! So, we get a little, cameo with that, but we find out that Emu was doing a tournament 6 years ago, and he trained every night for the past week, so he basically got exhausted and passed out, and that's apparently like right after that is when the surgery happened that kind of awakened his bugster side. Now the interesting thing, like I said, they're actually showing that the Genius Gamer M persona, was actually the original persona. While Emu, after being saved by Dr. Hinata, while he was still grateful and wanted to try and become a doctor, he wasn't fully as invested in it until after that surgery 6 years ago. And what's it called? The Genius Gamer M persona was still very present, but then he kind of got the softer side, and he actually managed to ace his exams to go into the medical field. And like we find this out from Hiro, who starts asking questions to what's it called, Emu. And like we also see that Nico, who is currently in the CR now, she was apparently at the event like 6 years ago as well. So I'm curious as to what her connection is through all of this. But during that, we find out Emu is basically he's basically patient zero. Once we find out that Taiga takes Hiro and tells him all about that, and Taiga's all like, "Man, would you imagine the stress he would get when he finds out that he's actually infected with the Bugster virus?" Then Hiro realizes that, and the two actually come up with a kind of sneaky plan. Taiga's plan, like, a lot of people are confused at Hiro, but I think I've got an idea of what he wanted to do in terms of it, and it also ties into his Emu is a better person to operate on Bugster patients than he is, like compliment he did earlier. So Taiga basically tells him, it's all like, "Hey, listen, Nico left all these belongings at my place. I don't want them. She's in your care now. Take them off my hands." He just, oh man, I am like out of it. He basically attacks Emu. The reason is basically, he just wants to get he wants to take away Emu's Gosh shots, make sure like he's the only one that can use all of them and stuff. You know what I mean? He wants to make sure he's the only Kamen Rider, obviously, and he realizes that, hey, this guy, he's just a poser because he's a Bugster. He needs to be eliminated, or at least his Bugster side. Hiro goes ahead with Taiga because he feels like battle is a good way to provoke the Bugster out of Emu and try and deal with it that way. The two even... Taiga gets the Dragonite 100 Ziga shot, and the two go level 5 in order to deal with Emu. With Paradox running interference once Emu's shown that this is basically a 2-on-1 fight. Parad shows up and he becomes Kamen Rider Paradox, Puzzle Gamer, level 50. And Asuna was so in shock because she's there too. She was so in shock, she's all like, "Wait, level 15?" And Emu's all like, "No, he said 50. I'm all like, "Yeah, we just jumped from level 10 to 2 level 10s, which technically are 20, to level 50. We have jumped 30 levels in 2 episodes, which is actually kind of funny. So yeah, Puzzle Gamer is probably the most dangerous form out of every single rider in the show, because he is able to assimilate every object in the game area into energy items, which are his game objects that show up whenever he fights. So he's able to take these game objects, turn them into energy items. Then he's able to mix around energy items, find 2 that he wants, and combine their abilities. He uses this to go for finisher on Taiga and Hiro. Basically, he gets stretchy limbs and jump boost. So he gets high in the air and does a stretchy rider kick against both of them. Emu's all like, "You know what? A life is a life. I can't let you keep doing this." And so, Parad's all like, he's all like, "Oh, come on, Emu, you're gonna you're gonna fire me up," and then he goes into the fighting gamer level 50 form, which is blatantly Street Fighter, except not really because obviously copyright. So he basically beats the crap out of Emu, who I'm surprised decided to use Shakariki Sports. I'm assuming they wanted to show off more that, oh hey, Emu got this new shot, so he's going to use it. I'm surprised they went with Shakariki Sports because, for a fighter gamer, it has the boxing gloves, which it does a Gundam Maxter-like thing where the shoulder pads and Puzzle Gamer detach, flip around, and become the boxing gloves for fighter gamer. But, Emu, you have a frickin' rocket punching frickin' form. Do you, that's the one thing I'm sad about. Gekitotsu Robots is it's so forgotten by now, because Emu just used Shakariki Sports. Actually, I think he's only been using Shakariki Sports ever since he got it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, he's only used Dragonite Hunter and Shakariki Sports. Come on, Gekitotsu Robots, show it some love, goddammit, seriously. So yeah, there's that. Obviously, Parrot beats the crap out of Emu. Leaves. He's all like, "Oh, give me a more fun time next time." Emu's getting up, but you hear the Bugster virus infection noises, and he's having a headache. And Asuna takes him away from the area. And Hero and Tiger are all like, "What the fuck just happened?" Because they're all like, "Oh, hey, level 5, we'll just do this." And then, basically, what's it called? How would you say? Man, I am, tongue-tied today. Oh, right. So, basically, that's where the episode ends. And the next episode, we get to see, Mighty Brothers versus Paradox. We're going to actually see Snipe go full dragon, level 5, to fight against Genmu. And Genmu's, trying to provoke, Emu. I'm assuming what he's trying to do because, we're learning that the Emu persona, the kind one, is not the original persona. So what if the Bugster is so weak and that the whole breakout is Emu's original persona trying to break free of the Bugster? What if when Emu's original persona, the Genius Gamer M persona, it breaks out, it overwhelms the Bugster persona so much that it vanishes completely, or it gets locked away completely, and then because Dan made a line saying, "Oh, with this you can no longer transform" or whatever, and I'm trying to think. So does that mean that that we're gonna get rid of Emu for Genius Gamer M temporarily? But there's no way that Emu can't still transform because he's the main rider, and I don't see him going into the background even with Snipe and Brave both getting level 50 in February. So there's that. Next episode seems interesting. Again, this episode was pretty good. It also helped that they didn't have to waste time with a intro and just put it into the credits, which is okay by my book. But yeah, overall pretty good. And can't wait for next week. Next week we got RWBY Volume 4 Episode 11 and Kamen Rider Ex-Aid Episode 16. I say next week, but we're already on a new week, so I can't wait for Saturday and Sunday is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'm Zero. I'll be seeing you guys next time.